Hey guys, we have a very interesting question about the company suing you. And if it's the original creditor, does it have to be that original creditor, or can it really be a debt buyer, but they're using the name of the original creditor? So, hope that you'll find this interesting. My name is John Watts. I'm a consumer protection lawyer. And here we have the question. It says, what if I'm being sued and the lawyer says the original, I think it means creditor, the original creditor, but when I call the original creditor, they say the account's been transferred. Who is actually taking me to court? Can the original creditor be the one suing me if the account's been transferred to Trak America? We'll come back to Trak America in just a minute. If the account is transferred and the original creditor isn't managing that account anymore, can their name be used as the entity suing me? So, great set of questions here. Let's kind of approach this in a couple ways. So, uh, let's start with there are two basic types of companies that can sue us. One's the original creditor, the other is a debt buyer. So, original creditor would be somebody like Capital One, Citibank, Synchrony Bank, your local credit union, um, you know, Capital One Auto Finance. In other words, the person that you borrowed the money from. Now, the other type is a debt buyer. And that's going to be Portfolio, LVNV, Midland, Jefferson Capital, Unifund. And so here's the original creditor, here's the debt buyer. The debt buyer says, well, we went over there and bought the debt. And so now we have the right to sue you. So the question in this case is there's an original creditor suing. So let's just call this Capital One. Okay. So Capital One suing me. And so let's go back and read the question. If I'm being sued, lawyer says that it's Capital One, but when I call Capital One, they say the account's been transferred. Then who's taking me to court? What if it's been transferred to Trak America? If the account is transferred and Capital One isn't managing that account, can their name be used as entity suing me? So again, very good set of questions there. The short answer is it depends, okay? Which is kind of a lawyerly answer, right? It depends. Well, let me tell you why it depends. If Capital One over here has actually sold the debt to a debt buyer, then no, Capital One cannot be suing in your name, okay? Now, if Capital One has instead delegated the task of collection to this company called Trak America, and then Trak America just goes and finds the right collection lawyer, then that would be okay. All right. So let me talk about a couple things here. First of all, we are seeing a growing problem with lawyers bringing cases in the name of an original creditor when secretly that creditor sold the debt to a debt buyer. And so what you have is the original creditor is the one suing, at least their name is, but if you paid any money, it doesn't go here. It goes to this sort of secret debt buyer who is, kind of off the stage here. You don't know that they exist, okay? That is a huge fraud on the court. It's just a terrible violation of the law. And, it doesn't happen real often, but we're seeing it more and more where lawyers are saying, oh, well, I just, accidentally forgot and filed in the name of, let's say, Capital One versus Portfolio Recovery or whoever it may be. It's a huge problem. Okay. So I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but let me talk about Trak America, what that is. So the best way I can explain it is imagine that you run all the litigation for Capital One. I run the litigation for Synchrony Bank, okay? And you and I are talking one day. And I say, it's just a pain because I got to keep up with 50 states and I got like 5 law firms in each state. So it's 250 law firms and they all have different processes and it's a pain. You go, man, what are you doing? You should just send it to a company like Trak America. And I go, what's Trak America? He said, oh, well, we send all of our accounts there. And then what they do is they manage the law firms that are filing suit for us. Okay. So we don't have to go into Iowa and then North Carolina and then Florida and then Texas and Arizona, all these states and find lawyers. Trak America does that. So we just say, hey, look, Trak America, here are our accounts. Here's our criteria or our parameters. Now you go find the law firms for us. We don't want to mess with this. Obviously, they take a fee for doing that. Now, it's more complicated than that, but that's just sort of a simple way to think about Trak America. So if we have Capital One here and they transfer it to Trak America just for the purpose of go find the right lawyer for us, well, then Capital One still owns that debt. They can still sue in their name. Okay. It would be like somebody coming to me, let's say it's a client I have in Alabama, and they say, hey, John, I've got a case in Michigan. Will you find me a lawyer that will be good in Michigan? You know what I need there. You know what's going on. And you know, maybe I need to sue the credit bureaus. I need to sue, you know, Capital One or Synchrony Bank or Midland or Portfolio. I just want to delegate to you to go find me the right lawyer. And then you and that lawyer make sure it gets taken care of. Okay, that's fine. Like, I can do that. My client is still the plaintiff, okay? They've just asked me to go help them find another lawyer to help them, maybe in a different state, or maybe it's a slightly different type of case. So it's not necessary that, or it's not necessarily true that with our example, Capital One going to Trak America, that doesn't mean they've sold the debt. So it'd still be fine for Capital One to sue you. But if Capital One has sold the debt, and the lawsuit's filed in the name of Capital One, that's a huge, huge problem. So here's a couple ways you can figure it out. One, you can ask the original creditor, like this person did, you know, do you guys still have the account? They say, oh, we transferred it to Trak America. I say, what does that mean? Did you sell it to Trak America or what? Now, if they say they sold it to Trak America, then that would be something I'd be bringing up in the lawsuit. Like, hey, what's going on? They said they sold it to Trak America. But you can also check your credit report. So here's what I want you to think about. You've got Capital One, and they're suing you. And you look on your credit report, and it's for $5,000. And let's say Capital One's not on there anymore. Or maybe it says sold or transferred. Well, that would be a huge sign that something fraudulent's going on with Capital One being the one suing you. But let's just say Capital One's off your credit report. But now you see Portfolio or Midland or Jefferson Capital or some other company on there for $5,000 and it says original creditor Capital One. Everything matches up. You're like, wait a minute. Now somebody's lying, okay? Capital One's lying in their lawsuit when they claim to own it, or this debt buyer is lying on my credit reports when they claim to own it. Somebody's not telling the truth. And somebody's in big trouble, okay? Because somebody needs to get sued over this. So that's probably the best way to figure it out. Now, if you're actually in the lawsuit and you have the ability to do discovery, to send interrogatories, that's written interrogation, request for production of documents, hey, give me documents, request for admissions, admit or deny certain things, then you could always ask them, say in discovery, you know, do you still own it? Give me all the paperwork if you've sold the debt or if you've transferred the debt, and see what you get back, okay? Because again, they either have to tell you truthfully or they lie, and if that lie gets caught, it just magnifies the case, okay? So from my perspective, when we're going against the bad guys here, we love for them to lie, okay? I don't get mad at them lying. I just expect it because they're crooked. Of course they're going to lie. But when they lie, the problem is usually we can catch them on that. And so the expression is we try the lie, okay? So you have the underlying case, what it's about, but then they lie, and that really becomes the focus with the jury. So, you know, if you've got an original creditor that's filing suit in its name, but 6 months before it sold the debt, whew, that's a bad problem for that creditor. And it's a bad problem for the debt buyer that they sold it to. You know, because they're usually in on this and they're convincing the lawyer, hey, file in the name of the original creditor, but send us the money. I mean, there's some, you know, what's the old expression? Somebody's got some splaining to do, all right? It may be the original creditor is innocent. Could be. Doubtful, though. Usually they're all involved, the original creditor, the debt buyer, and the collection lawyer. So I hope that helps, and definitely check out, you know, what you're dealing with and kind of push them on it and let us know what you find out. Okay, have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.